What's going on, everybody? Welcome along to today's video. I'm Matt over at DSR, and today we're back at Brunton's taking out this Honda CMX1100. Now, the question I'm going to be asking myself throughout this video is, does this sub £10,000 cruiser from the Japanese market compete with Harley Davidson that are pushing 15, 20, 25 grand? Well, let's find out. Let's start us off then looking at the engine in the CMX1100. We have got Honda's parallel twin, and this is producing 86 brake horsepower with 98 newton meters of torque. What does that mean? It means we can have a little bit of fun. They may not be the biggest numbers, but you know what? In this platform, it's more than enough. You do not need more. You do not need the 200 brake horsepower of some bikes. We don't need 140 newton meters of torque. This thing is actually torquey enough. Some nice twisties back there, fourth gear, and this thing was just flowing through it. Keeping it in that fourth gear, it just pulls enough. Come on. Come on. You're right away. So I'm only in standard mode, but this thing will definitely shift. It's not a slow engine, that's for sure. You gotta love UK weather. Beginning of July and it's raining. So I'll tell you what, I'll realize nicely onto some of the electrics in this bike. We do have 4 different rider modes. You've got a mode button on your left hand side, and then just above that you've got 2 arrows up and down. The mode button on the LCD, when you push it, is only going to rotate it between that box there and then the lower one. The lower box is going to be your range, your mileage, your temperature, things like that. And if you want to rotate through those different options, once you're that little arrow just there is in the bottom box, that's when you use the arrows up and down to rotate through. Or if you want to change rider modes, push it till the little arrow goes into the top box, and then use those arrow buttons, the select buttons, to change. So we've got 4, like I said. We got sport, standard, rain and user, and then once you're on the one that you want, you just roll off the throttle and then it will just enter it. User is the one that you can go in and change the parameters, so different power, different traction control. And then engine braking, I am noticing even in rain mode the engine braking is on 1 out of 3. When you're coming on and off the throttle, you do notice it. There is that kind of jerkiness. Even when you're coming on that throttle, the first 10%, you do feel it. And so the power is at 1 as well. So it's a shame, because a lot of bikes, if in like sport or standard the throttle's a bit jerky, a little bit snatchy, you put it into rain mode and it kind of settles it a little. This bike, no. So now kind of going around slow corners or roundabouts, you do just need to be mindful of the throttle pickup. We have got LEDs all around. At the front we've got the kind of classic retro round headlight, same as you've got on the CMX500. So I like how they're kind of keeping that pattern going. The indicators are running lights as well, so they'll stay on, say 20% brightness, just to give that front of the bike a little bit more stance, especially at night time. We do only have an LCD screen at the front, and it's inverted. What that means is it's black on the background and the white colours, white lettering. It's okay. I'm going through this segment where there's obviously trees above me, so I'm getting a lot of cloud and then trees, so like light and dark kind of reflecting off it. I wouldn't say it's the best screen out there, but it's okay. Don't shoot the messenger. A nice thing to see on a bike with a sub £10,000 price tag is this bike comes with cruise control as standard. I like that. My only gripe is it's on the right hand side of the handlebar, which means it's kind of just out of reach for my hand, because I don't ride with my grip all the way on the inside. But for me to get to the cruise control button, my grip has to be all the way in, just about the tip of my thumb can reach it. So in reality, what it means is I need to come off the throttle to push the button to activate it, as in turn it on, and then to the right hand side of the button is the set, and then you can actually go up and down the speed. But I do like that they've put it on as standard. One thing that is on this bike, I'm not totally sure it needs, is a wheelie control. I'm not sure how many people are going to be either doing wheelies on this cruiser or in a position where the front end is coming up where they need to stop it doing wheelies. But hey, I am more than happy for you to correct me, tell me I'm wrong in the comments box below. Tell me how many wheelies you're doing on your CMX1100 cruiser. Honda have got the DTC option on many of their bikes, and that is included in this bike. DTC eliminates the clutch, which means it's a twist and go, but you still do the gears, just without the requirement of putting the clutch in. That could work for different type of people, but more importantly, if you're struggling in the strength of your hand and you can't pull the clutch anymore, having that option would be absolutely perfect. And that is an added option on the CMX1100. There are a few different model lineups that you can pick for this 1100. The standard CMX1100, which is this one, it's going to set you back £9,600. If though you do want the DTC option, that's then going to set you back to £10,450. And then there's another two options, the CMX1100T, which is going to have some side bags and a bit of a touring screen. That's also going to be £10,450. And then I believe the last option will be the CMX1100T with DCT. Now I can't remember that price range, but I'll put it on the screen now. So Honda have kind of got you covered no matter which option you want. But like I said, purpose of today's video, standard one, £9,600. I believe there are three different colour options, and that's going to be the black, the gunmetal grey and red. Now I get it, prices go up each year, but from 2022 to 23 I believe the prices went up £1,100. Now you tell me what went into the that price increase, other than your standard inflation. Did they add anything extra? I can't see anything extra on this bike from last year's, but I may be wrong. I think it's a large increase for just a another year on, if there's not been any massive increase in improvements on this bike. Cancelable ours, there is no red in the colour option. I think that was for the CMX500, my bad. Honda, I've got a couple of different accessory packs if you want to buy them. We've got the street accessory, which gets rid of the rear passenger, so it gives you a solo single seat at the front. I like that look very much. And then a kind of smaller front fairing, or you can get the touring accessory pack, which is kind of a bigger screen at the front, comfort seat for the rider and passenger, a backrest for the passenger, and then some saddle bags, soft saddle bags, pannier bags, whatever you want to call them. Obviously they're the packs that you can buy with this bike, or you can just go onto Honda, go onto their website and then add what you want on it. Make this bike your own. Ergonomics on this bike, obviously this bike has no screen, so the wind is kind of nice and neutral across my top half. There is no strange buffeting on my helmet, so I like that. It's not too bad at kind of dual carriageway speeds, i.e. these back roads 60 miles an hour. I am 6'1", and I do feel kind of low in the seat. We do have a seat height of 700mm, but where the forward mounted pegs are, it means my knees feel quite high, and my knees feel higher than my hip, so I'm kind of this like awkward kind of, just feel a bit awkward position. I wonder if they had just kind of put the pegs a little bit further forward, that would obviously have alleviated that height of the knee. Sure, people might not find that, so they might have a different experience when sitting on this bike. I do feel a little kind of plonked in the seat, knees are up, handlebar does feel a little bit too far away from my top half. I feel like I'm trying to stretch for it a little bit. It's not like a comfortable natural position, it's just a little bit too far. Tell you what, let's pull over and have a little walk around. Here we go then, let's have a little look around the bike. We do have 43mm forks at the front, and we've got twin piggyback suspension at the rear. I'm not finding any issues. I'm a bigger, heavier guy, 115 kilos, and they're doing fine. They're doing well. Handling it nicely, especially these back roads, they do get very bumpy. Side mounted ignition barrel. So kind of a very classic retro styling for the cruiser. I actually really like it. I like for this exhaust that they've blacked it out, which kind of kept the theme of the bike nice, black and neutral, rather than a big shiny silver exhaust sticking on the side. It doesn't look anything, it doesn't look the greatest, but actually I think it sounds pretty good when you are on the open road. Brakes wise, I'm having absolutely no dramas with them, even though at the front we've got a single 330mm disc, 4-piston pot, and at the rear we've got a single 265mm. On the brake, especially at the front, I am finding that the initial pickup and the biting point is kind of as soon as you get on the lever. Me personally, that's what I prefer. Another cool thing, as standard, underneath the rider's seat there's a 3-litre storage compartment with also a USB-C charging point. To get to that, what you're going to do is go around to the key on the left hand side of the bike. It took me a while to work this out. You're going to push the key in and then twist it to the right, and then you hear a little click from the seat area. That then releases the seat, and then you can just take it off. And this is inside the storage compartment. Size of that, I believe here is the waterproof USB-C charging point as well. So camera equipment, phones, whatever you need to, shove in there, charge it whilst you're riding. I think it's nice that they've managed to find some storage and actually made it usable, rather than claiming a phone can fit in it but then it can't. Ducati Multistrada has got something on the tank, my iPhone 13 Pro doesn't fit in it. This storage, absolutely no dramas. Put the seat back on, there's 2 little kind of lips at the back, kind of hinge points. Find them and then just ram the front end down, like so. And there you go, one-handed. See what I mean by the reflection? So when you are going through the trees area, like it can, where is it? There we go. It can get quite distracting. Guys, tell me what you think of this bike. I think actually it looks pretty good. The main thing is, I'm loving it that it's under 10 grand. Something that is important in this kind of market nowadays is that bike manufacturers are kind of getting silly with their prices, and the problem is we keep paying them. So it's our fault. Well, no more standing around. Let's get on the road and finish off this review. As I said, 700mm seat height. Me being 6'1", when I'm sat on it, obviously both feet flat on the floor, easy bend in the knees. This is going to be a perfect bike for any of those shorter riders out there. Like I said, I really like the side ignition barrel. It's just a little something extra in it. So this bike is 223 kilos, and even though it's low, it does feel kind of top heavy. Probably is not helped by having a 13.5 litre tank sit right at the top of the bike. It's just a little bit top heavy when you're like this. It doesn't feel light between your legs. Anyway, let's make a move. Slow speed handling though is easy. It's got a good turn and circle on it. It's just easy to ride. Now let's get it out of rain mode. We will put it to sport. There we go. say in sport mode, the engine definitely does come alive. It lets you know it's the bigger beast in the CMX family. You're gonna have some real fun on this bike, that's for sure. There are some vibrations coming through the pegs, not a massive amount, nothing through the seat, and very little through the handlebars. So overall, vibrations is not a problem on this bike. So brakes are actually really good for, especially at the front, having a single disc. I like it. As soon as I start pulling with my finger, the brake pads start biting straight away. That's how I like it. Each to their own. You are going to be looking about 110 miles per tank. Only being 13 litre, it's a tiny tank in comparison to some of the other bikes out there. This type of bike, you're not doing touring, you're not really doing long distance. I mean, you might do, you can do. It's got a touring package, get a bigger screen, get some saddlebags, comfort seat. Yeah, you can do touring. Not that I'd want to personally. This type of bike is fantastic for those Sunday mornings where you just want to go for have a gentle ride, having a little chill out ride. Perfect for it. So I asked myself at the start, could this sub 10 grand cruiser from Honda replace a Harley Davidson? Honestly, no. The reason I say no, me personally, you don't get the same feel when you jump on this bike as you do a Harley. The sound definitely isn't the same kind of note from this to the Harley. When I pull up at traffic lights on a Harley, you're kind of like chugging away because of that big old 1800s engine. People look at it, people hear it. This, I don't get that same feel. This will be more reliable because Honda, that's one thing you can rely on from them, is the reliability of their bikes. But yeah, you just don't get that same feel of cruiser from this. Like I said, the pegs, maybe even push them out a little bit further than where they are now if you wanted to get that extra cruiser feel. Just because this wouldn't replace a Harley in my garage, it doesn't neglect the type of bike it is. 9.5 grand, brand new. If you want to get the ones with a bit of a screen and some bags, 10.5. That's good in today's market for kind of what you're getting. The exhaust it doesn't look very good, but you know what, it sounds okay. This thing handles really nicely. It flicks beautifully for a cruiser. Handles nicely in those back roads and the twisties. But then you want to get it in a comfortable mode, put cruise control on, and there you go. You can chill out, get yourself on the dual garageways or the motorways, and then you can just cruise along. I'd say this handles better than some of the Harleys I've ridden. But bearing in mind, 223 kilos to 305 kilos, you've got a lot of extra weight that you're trying to throw around. Guys, that is it for my full ride review on the Honda CMX1100 for 2023. If you're looking at this bike and you think, you know what, the 1100 is just a little bit too much power for me, then you want to check out my CMX500 review, which can be found here. Top right hand corner of your screen. Click on that, see what I thought of that little bike. If you did like it, make sure you like the video. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. Plenty more riding reviews coming weekly. And until the next one, ride safe.